Hi, I'm Darryn Farrugia and welcome. In last week's video, I showed you a method for taking the 6-stroke roll from a 2-beat triplet-based rhythm and pattern, and we superimposed that on top of 16th notes, which made it a pattern in 3/4. Now, if you haven't seen that video, I urge you to check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But let's move on to today's lesson. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take that 6-stroke roll and we're bringing it back home. We're returning it to triplets, and we're going to retain that as a 2-beat triplet pattern. So the original version of the pattern, which I'm going to play for you now on the hi-hat, is 2 beats of triplets, 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left. So we're going to have a bit of fun with this today. We're going to, again, use some voice substitution, but more importantly, we're going to take this pattern and we're going to displace it. So let's do that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this entire pattern 1 triplet 8th note forward. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this pattern is now going to start on the 3rd note of the 2nd triplet. So 1 and a, 2 and a is where the pattern will start. So let me play that for you on the hi-hat very slowly. 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and a, 2 and. So the accent, the right hand and left hand accents now occur on the 2 and a. 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a. So this gives us the opportunity to come out of that fill and even start that fill where the downbeats are always anticipated. So rather than starting 1, 2, 1, 2, we're starting 1, a2, a1, a2, a. So let me play you some time. I'll throw this in as a fill. You'll get what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do in terms of changing this pattern, is really just starting the whole thing 1 triplet 8th note earlier. So our main right hand accent is now anticipated. It's actually not on the beat anymore. In fact, none of the accents are on the beat. So I'm going to take the tempo up. I'm just going to give you some more examples of that. Same groove, same thing, just a little brighter. So that in itself is quite a complex change to make, because all of a sudden we're not dealing with any downbeat accents. So when you play that fill over, say, a bar or even 2 bars at faster tempos, it can force you to want to hear the downbeat in a different spot. So it's really a matter of orally getting used to that sound and how that feels to play. So persist with it. So the next step is in voice substitution. So if you remember that in last week's video, I talked about substituting 2 bass drums for the double with the right hand. So let me go back to the original version of this triplet 6-stroke. I'm going to play all the accents, in their original position. But what I'm going to do is substitute those 2 right-hand strokes for 2 bass drum strokes. I'll play this for you slowly. 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a. Now, a fairly typical orchestration to play with a 6-stroke roll is to put the right hand accents on the floor tom, and let's say the left hand accents on this first tom here, with all the other notes played on the snare drum. This type of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's play the same orchestration, but we're going to substitute those right hand doubles for 2 bass drum doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is something that you would hear Steve Gadd play as a fill, or even Vinnie Colaiuta play as a fill, this type of thing. So that in itself, that pattern where the 6th stroke is actually starting in its original position with the right hand accent on the downbeat, is a good pattern to practice just to get the coordination right. And I always keep my left foot playing quarter notes or 2 and 4 or 8th notes depending on what I'm playing pattern wise and subdivision wise, so don't neglect the hi-hat foot. So taking that pattern that we played, right, left, kick, kick, left, we're going to bring that forward by a triplet 8th note now. So again, that pattern is going to start on the 2 and R. Here it is, slowly. I'll play the hands on the snare drum, no orchestrations yet. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that's the pattern. So what I'll do now is play the right hand accents on the drums, and I'm actually going to leave off the left hand accents. So we get this. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I think leaving off those left-hand accents is a good place to start, just to solidify the pattern. So I'll play the same thing now, and I'll add those left-hand accents. This is starting to sound pretty good. Now, if you want to download a copy of the PDF that accompanies this video, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So let me go back to another 6-stroke variation, and this is a pattern in 3/4. So we're going to go back to our original version of this, starting on the downbeat. The pattern in 3/4 is right, left, right, left. So the first 2 beats are the same. And all we're doing is adding a 3rd beat, which is right, left, left. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. I'm going to take that pattern, I'm going to substitute the rights for the kick, and this is what we end up with. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now that pattern on its own sounds great, but we're going to make it sound even better by bringing that whole pattern forward again. So the whole pattern is going to start on the last triplet of beat 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put this pattern in context. So I'm going to just play some fills using the original version in 2/4, and I'm going to throw in some of these 3/4 versions as well, so you can hear how it works in the mix of everything that we have so far. So you get an idea for how that works. I should also point out that the inspiration for this pattern comes from one of my all-time favorite drummers, which is Zach Danziger. And at a very young age, when I saw Zach Danziger play for the first time, he was 18 years old. I saw him play in New York. And you know, he had a vocabulary that was way beyond his years as an 18-year-old. And so I just basically got a hold of every recording that I could get with him on it. And you know, I just became very obsessed and started listening to things and hearing things and trying to implement those things in my playing. So more recently, I've gone back and had to listen to some of these recordings, and I rediscovered this set of patterns which I'm showing you today. So I urge you to check him out. He's incredible. So at this point, I suggest that you practice these patterns enough so that they eventually start to emerge as part of your vocabulary. So what I'm going to do now is just improvise mostly with triplets and, you know, see how this stuff surfaces. Here we go. So there you go. That's another variation and adaptation of the 6-stroke roll. And it's always part of that thing where I'm trying to play language that is not always the most common way of playing it. And that's not to say that I don't use this 6-stroke roll in its most basic and fundamental form, because I think it's an essential part of our vocabulary as drummers, but being able to take something and do something different with it is really important to me. So that's kind of what I'm sharing with you today. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, and remember to hit that notification button so that you know when I've uploaded a video, which is every week. So until next week, have a great week, and see you soon. Bye.